What's up, Wolfpack? Still at the park. I'm probably gonna do a reading because I'm debating whether I should actually, I don't know, do therapy. Which I hope I don't be gaslit. Because first of all, I'd probably just make a call to see if they're available as well as if they're actually good people. So I feel like I'd make a list of questions and all that. But let alone go through with it. I don't know. I just feel anxious just thinking about it. Because personally, I'd love help. But there's so many untrustworthy things out there, and I don't want to fall into any trap again, especially since I feel like I've been making a lot of progress. Not to say, like, if I do fall into the trap or whatever, into the illusion, into the matrix, that I won't get out again, but it's still scary to think that it could be a possibility. Because I feel like I've already been through enough. I don't want to be traumatized even more. So I decided I'd bring my cards and this really cool book that I bought a while back. I still don't know if it was actually worth the buy because I didn't notice till I bought it that it was $88. It was this book, some cards, and some runes from Peru, and a little bag to hold the runes. And mind you, it has a lot of knowledge, and I like physical copies of things, but I don't know. I don't know. It's also not by an indigenous person, at least from the name that I can see, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being rude, but whatever. I don't know. I guess I could return it if I find the receipt, maybe, but I don't know. I feel like it's already been analyzed and shit. I already annotated parts of it. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it's a good summary of little things, but I don't know if it's the whole truth, and that's what bothers me. So, I don't know. And also $88? That's a lot. Is it going back to the community? Whatever. This is why I don't like, reading things from certain people or whatever. But I feel like either way, there's always something to learn or break down from it, so I guess I'll do with what I got. Okay. I'm gonna start with the Spirit of the Animals deck. Okay. $242. I also didn't expect to be here this long. I thought I'd only be here for 20 minutes or something. Because, I don't know. I usually get really hungry. But I brought pitahaya this time, which I knew I'd be hungry, so it's a good thing I brought it. Dog friend. Oh, that's cute. I opened it at the middle. Sorry. Wait, yeah, that's how it'd go. I'm just gonna read these, actually. It's still pretty chilly. It's windy. Anyway. Let's see. So we got the dog card, right? It says, "Today I will love without condition. My energy and enthusiasm are an inspiration. I choose to be happy. I am a protector and friend." Look at these cute little puppies. Oh my gosh, I love dogs. It's gonna make me cry. And it's funny because January is the wolf moon, right? For 2022 at least, from what I've noticed. And let's searched up on Google because I was something's interesting about this moon, and I was also wondering what gibbous moon means because I downloaded time passages, and it said it was gibbous moon, and I was like, well, what is a gibbous moon? And it said something about up until full moon or some shit. I don't know. I need to learn more. But I was like, oh, full moon, cool. But yeah. I just got intimidated because this white van just parked there. It's probably that dude that sells the food, but still uneasy. Anyway, Loon, intuitive. Listen to the song in your soul. Trust your intuition as you have a way of knowing. Emerge from the busy life and seek more solitude. Recognize that you are unique and that you are loved. So it's interesting that it came upside down. right, that I opened it upside down. So I'm gonna read the contrary on this specific card, the Loon card. There's a guide for this, luckily. Oh shit. There's a lot of pages. I feel like I should, like, I don't know, write down the number on the card, the page number, because, like, this thing is like 100 pages. Did I dream of a pronghorn? I feel like a lot of my dreams mix together. Like, I feel like a lot of them too are like a continuation of a dream I've had in the past. It's interesting. Okay, Loon. Elegance, singer, communicator, visionary, dreamer, loyalty, family, fidelity, freedom's call, spirit messenger. I need tea. The call. Should I zoom in, or is this? I think we'll just go with a big perspective. The call of the loon stirs the soul. Their sounds evoke reverence and imagination. Loons have a complex communicative system that is highly evolved. Loons are powerful and intuitive. Knowing from within comes quickly for loon people. Their flashes of insight and imagination are highly developed. Loons mate for life and teach the ideals of family and fidelity to those with this totem. That's interesting, because, like, I'm the type of person, if I'm going to bring someone into my life, they're either, you know, they better stay and be loyal and whatnot, or just not be in my life at all if they're just going to be fake, you know, because I'm not about that. I don't just bring people in just to fulfill the emptiness and loneliness. If you're going to come into my life, you're either going to stay or you're just not. And I'm not going to go out of my way to beg someone to stay or to change. Not anymore. I used to, but that's just not who I am anymore. I'd like to change it. I'd like to say I've changed a lot. Loons are excellent partners and parents. They often carry their offspring on their backs. Loons are also excellent communicators, and they relate well to others. This actually reminds me of the ducks I'd see in Florida. Like, I always found it so fucking cute because, like, there'd be these ducklings, and to be honest, they barely fit in my palm. Like, they were, like, so tiny. They literally looked like puffballs with legs and beaks. It was so fucking adorable. Oh my gosh, it makes me want to cry. Like, I was like 7 years old back then when I would see the ducklings, because I feel like there's not as many ducklings now than when I was there like 10 years ago. So, yeah. But I was also living there for 2 years, so maybe it just wasn't season when I was living there 2020. But I didn't even see any this time when I visited in November. I don't know. But nonetheless, there were just these cute little puffballs of just feathers and just so fluffy. And I'd see them with their moms. And, like, the moms just keep them warm and they just follow along with their mom. It's so cute. It literally makes my heart melt. I love them so much. I love ducks. I miss the animals in Florida. Though there's animals here too, and there's, like, cats especially. There's a lot of cats, but it still feels, I don't know, sad. Maybe that's just because I'm missing things, but just, yeah, I need to focus on what I do have instead of what's not here anymore. This is so sweet. I don't know how to feel about that. Okay. When Loon arrives, or you hear them call, it may be time to pay attention to your own intuition and be discerning of your situation. If Loon is your totem, you will be a great communicator. Insights and answers easily rise from the depths of your subconscious. Family love is important, and you protect the ones you love. Personally, I have found it so difficult to decipher my egoic voice, aka fear or, survival mode state mindset, from my intuition, because I feel like the fear has just consumed or just completely surrounded. Like, for example, according to the theory of Earth, right? Because it's literally a theory. They teach it as fact, but it's a fucking theory. That there's like a molten rock in the middle of the Earth. And the rest of the Earth surrounds it. Which is honestly interesting, but still a theory. A lot of these things are theory, but taught as fact, and that bugs me. But religion isn't. That's also, I don't know, taught as fact. But whatever. Yeah. So it's kind of like that. Like, just imagine this is your intuition, and this is ego or fear-based or whatever, and it just covers it. But, I've heard someone mention this in a certain way, or just phrase it in a certain way. Like, for example, it was like Jason Stevenson's PTSD meditation, guided meditation thing. And he says, like, thoughts are like rushing water. Meanwhile, I believe intuition is kind of like a peaceful state of mind, and you just process. It's not so intense. I feel like intuition just comes very lightly, like it just kind of bubbles up to the surface. It's kind of like an iceberg, right? Like, there's the tip of the iceberg, which is barely scratching the surface kind of thing, and then there's the rest of the iceberg just submerged in the water, right? But just imagine that as our minds. We have the super id, we have the id, we have the ego, super ego, and whatnot. So we have like the subconscious, the conscious, and then we have the super conscious. So it's like we have all these different states of being, and I feel like a lot of us get lost within this matrix and fall into a fear-based reality. So we just live based off of that because we're just in survival mode. And it's been hard for me to get out of that mentality or state of being. There'll be times where I resurface or like melt away some ice, and I'm like, I feel free. But then, I don't know, I guess it gets cold and like more ice comes or whatever. Or I just it's kind of like peeling an onion, right? I feel like they did this in Shrek, where like people are like onions, right? And there's just so many layers to them, and there's so much to go about. And that's why, I don't know, I want to say I can do this alone, but I feel like that's just because I don't trust anyone and I'm scared of being hurt again. But I do know that I guess I do need to open my heart, and I just don't like admitting it. Because it's funny, I'll give really good advice to other people, but when it comes to myself, I just don't listen to my advice. I'm like, it just leaves my mind all of a sudden. I'm like, oh, English, Spanish, anything? No. I am mute, bitch. I'm mute and deaf and blind. I don't read either. Yeah. But anyway, I feel like if I were speaking to someone else, or for example, if I had myself, like my fear-based self right there, or my survival state of mind sitting there, and my, I guess, higher self sitting here, I'd be like, well, there's a lot of scary things out here, and you have been through a lot, so it makes sense why you wouldn't want to open up and get hurt again. But the thing with, keeping isolated and keeping all these things to yourself and letting, essentially having them weigh you down, because even though I know you put a lot of work into like healing and stuff, for example, journaling a lot or making vlogs and all this stuff, but either way, you still feel heavy and you find it hard to fall asleep and you feel restless. You just feel a lot of things, and it's a lot for one person to handle, and no one should go through things alone. And I know that's how you've been raised. Because you've always been neglected, but that doesn't mean you have to go through it alone. And that you've been gaslighted and abused and just completely mistreated. But if there's people like you with a kind heart, and even though you feel hopeless and helpless, you still have faith somehow. So if there's people like you, even just you existing, I'm sure there's others like you too. And it may be hard to believe, or even let yourself process or acknowledge, but maybe not everything's black and white, not everything's evil. And maybe it's time to step out in the world again and see color. Because you've been in the dark for so long. And it's okay. You're safe. I know you're scared of being captured and locked away again, or scared of falling into a really deep, fear-based place. But, there's so many dimensions to everything. And there has to be good out there. Not everything has to be evil. Or even good either, but maybe there is a community for you. Even though you probably don't believe it, since you've been waiting for that for so long and you've just been misguided and mistreated and abused and neglected and so on and so forth. But maybe not everything is like that. Maybe not everything is black and white. Maybe there's some yellow like a bee. There's a bee right there. And it doesn't necessarily mean that black is all that bad either. Black is just a mix of colors, right? Like, for example, I don't know, purple and blue or orange and shit. Like, just mixing all of that eventually turns to black. And to be honest, white is also a mix of colors, like the sunlight, right? Like, you just put a prism and you see the rainbow. But you've been in this in-between state, or not even in-between state, you've been from one extreme to the other that you don't know an in-between. You just feel fear, or you feel you just you feel trapped and scared and whatever else. But that doesn't mean that's all there is. There's beauty. There's faith. There's hope. And maybe it's about trial and error. Maybe you don't have to let everyone or everything in, but you can start with something that you feel might ground you or make you feel whole again. Or start to feel like you're picking up the pieces of yourself that you lost while trying to please others who could give less of a fuck about you. Maybe it's just time you open up again and allow yourself to be yourself. You don't have to hide all the time. You don't have to be scared that something bad's gonna happen every second of the day. Just because bad things happen in the past. And I know it can be hard because, you're so used to all these bad things happening, but it's been hard for you to realize the good things that you do have, like sure, basic necessities, which sometimes you don't even, or you haven't had in the past, but other things too. Maybe it's just time for you to step into the light and shine a light on the darkness you've endured, like a lotus flower emerging from the murky waters and rising to the top to see the sun again. Because change is inevitable, but growth and evolution is a choice. You could choose to stay at the murky waters, or, in the mud, or you can choose to rise up and open your heart again and just become the flower you're meant to be, or that you want to be. Be a lotus. Maybe it's just time you open up. There's a lot of feelings and emotions that need to be resolved, and it can be hard to do it on your own. And you've been trying to do it on your own. And to be honest, when you did ask for help, Maria just sent you to more abusive people and abusive situations and just toxic environments. But she's not here anymore. And neither is Bernardo. It's just you, so you can start making your own decisions. You don't have to completely depend on them like you. And I know it can be hard because you've been doing that for like the past pretty much 19 years. But it's okay to try and do things on your own and just be independent and not, super independent. Find a balance and hopefully trust again. Maybe you don't have to open up completely. You can take your time, buddy. But you don't have to stay in the dark forever. Then what's the point of being a seed? Eventually you're gonna have to see the light and come into the new world. A better place, like you've always wanted. And maybe that's scary because this is all you've ever known. And it's familiar. And maybe that's why it's hard for you to let go. And just allow yourself to be your ultimate highest self. Because this is the identity you've been living with for almost the past 19 years. You used to do all this pain and agony and suffering. We're not familiar with something bright. But there are good things in the world. There are good signs. There are warnings. But you just have to see again. You don't have to be deaf, blind, and mute in fear of pain and live in a monochrome world with no color, with no feeling or whatever. You don't have to be numb anymore. you don't have to just sit in that darkness by yourself. And you don't have to completely put your trust in something either. You know, you can take your time building it. And you can always back out too. Maybe it doesn't feel that way because in the past you have been kidnapped and held hostage and shit. And even now you still live with your abusers. And you probably feel so hopeless and helpless because you just want to do things on your own. You want to live on your own and just be isolated from the world. But maybe at this point it's just causing you more damage than good. And yeah, let's be real. Maybe you have had people in your life who just couldn't understand you. But maybe that's what makes you such a special soul. A lotus amongst lily pads. I told you that truck is fucking weird. Like, why would you just park there and then suddenly want to leave? They didn't even get out of their truck. Anyway. Whoa, that blade of grass looks cool. It has like little edges. I don't know if, oh, hold on, it's too zoomed out. We're in. Oh, I don't even know where it is. Is it that one? Oh yeah, it's that one. It has little spines? Spine? I should call it, but it looks cool. No wonder they actually call it a blade of grass. Like, I have never seen the fuzz in it before. Like, I've been so mad at the world for not teaching me certain things that I'm just consumed by that anger that I don't pay attention to. That I have I don't pay attention to the fact that now I have the opportunity to do certain things that I didn't before, you know. Oh, that's me. I feel exhausted. I just want to feel again. I want to be a part of a community. You know, I went from going to school with like 3,000 students and being in a dojo with like 30, 60 people maybe, to moving like 2 hours, then 3 hours away from my hometown, being completely isolated, then moving back to my hometown, not seeing anyone because of this whole thing, and then moving to Florida, then being locked up and meeting people, but then them not reaching out or not being the way I wanted it to be. And then going to Peru and being locked up for like 8 months, including my birthday. And then moving to Florida, getting 2 jobs and being bullied at one of the jobs. To moving back to California because I wanted to run away from my parents, especially my mom. To living with a toxic pedophile bitch ass motherfucker. And her accomplice. To moving again 2 hours away from my hometown. I've pretty much been alone for all of it. Like, I joined a dojo in Florida. I had actually gone to 2. One of them was for jiu-jitsu. The other one was like taekwondo. Like specialized in taekwondo, but it was still a mixed martial art. I was about to get my black belt, and then Maria decided to move again. I would probably, I don't know, maybe be a 5th degree black belt, possibly. I don't know if that's possible for such a young age, but, you know, according to the ranks, I'd probably a fifth degree master. Because I started at the age of 12. And then we moved to Peru just before getting, I think it was my purple belt that was supposed to be next. And then we came back. They changed dojos essentially, but I joined martial arts again, and I was supposed to be, I think, a blue belt. And then we moved to Florida, and just as I got my brown belt and was supposed to test for my black belt, she decides to move. I worked so hard for all of that, just to have it stripped away 4 times really, because even that other dojo, I'm pretty sure she didn't want me going or something, I don't know, because I know she lies a lot, so I never know what actually happened, because I actually liked that dojo too. I liked the jiu-jitsu, I liked the ground fighting, and the other dojo was cool, but I don't know. I just wish I could be in my original somewhat dojo, you know. Because Kajukenbo is such a beautiful sport. You know, the pedophile Frank Marinus Clausen III may have been the one grooming me. But at the end of the day, he was also teaching me a lot. I wouldn't say I like the sport because of him. Maybe a little bit, I don't know. But I did learn a lot, and I built a lot of, I think I could say, confidence, and I felt so sure of myself, even if it was just love bombing. But I started to believe in myself anyway. And I actually got 2 world titles and a couple other first placers. And I was also teaching martial arts at like the age of 15. And that's really impressive. But after what happened with Frank and Anna and Martina, I couldn't go back there. I felt ashamed and guilty and embarrassed. And so angry that no one did anything to help me. But Frank did isolate me from everyone. You know, he wasn't there at the dojo originally, and I was so close to everyone there. They would take me out to eat, they'd bring me home. It was fun. And then Frank being possessive and just, you know, who he really is. I didn't continue hanging out with them and having the fun that I used to. There's a blue jay. Just keeps popping back up. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. He kept claiming he was my savior. He wanted to open a dojo with me, you know. I would have paid $10,000 out of my pocket, and he would have paid $50,000. So I'd be a co-owner, supposedly, according to his word. And to be honest, like, if I could open a dojo and I had my master and I was, you know, registered under the Kajukenbo Federation and whatnot, I would definitely open a dojo and teach and, you know, continue to learn, because there's always more to learn, especially with them changing certain things as well. I think they're going back to more ancient practices as well. Not just, you know, the new ones that have been placed, but going back to old practices. At least the last time I was there, that's what they were doing. Or what it seemed like they were doing. I don't know. They modified certain things. It just made me feel powerful. I'm not gonna lie, the master did scare me a lot because it's just looking at me. That's cute. There's 2 blue jays. It just grabbed a little acorn and it was just looking at me, and then it flew up to the tree or something, and then another one flew the other way. That's cute. What do they do with acorns? Actually, that's like the second time I've seen that. Because the other time I was like, wait, why is it grabbing an acorn? Because I don't think I've ever seen that. Oh no, actually I saw an acorn actually sprouting at the bottom. Like I saw its roots sprouting into the earth. Because I accidentally picked it up, or like accidentally fumbled because I was sitting there and like practicing. And it just was out, and I saw a little sprout because I was just like, oh, cool acorn. And then I saw the sprout and I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. I wish I took a picture, but yeah, that was cool. Yeah, but anyway, I miss MMA. It was a lot of fun, you know. We went through a lot of things. Like I think we had 5-week training. Like we'd focus on one thing for 5 weeks. Like for example, I don't know, wrestling, then we do jujitsu, then we do boxing, then we do palama sets, I think. You know, we just always switch it up. And that was a lot of fun. And then you test for your stripe and all that shit. It was really fun. But I also felt like I was never validated enough. No matter how much effort I put into it, no matter how much time was put into it, I didn't feel good enough for them. And I don't know if that's just because they didn't like Frank, because everyone hates Frank. Or, I don't know. I don't know what it was, really. I just know that I didn't feel good enough. I would like to say a lot more insecure back then, and I'd like to say I've grown a bit more out of my insecurity since then. But yeah, that's just pretty much where I've been at. It's been difficult. It really has. I need tissue. Cute. Human specimen. Yeah. I guess I just limit myself a lot because I'm like, oh, well, I don't have enough money and I don't have a job and like, you know, I'm not making money and like, I don't know, I just think of out of a lack perspective where I'm like, I just don't have enough, so either way I wouldn't be able to. And also from the fear-based shit. You know, I just come up with all these excuses to be like, oh, I can't open a dojo, or I thought I'd already said 39. I feel like it should have been on 40 a while ago. Whatever. Yeah. I just come up with these excuses to not do things, or I just distract myself from the things I feel are more important. Or I just, you know, I'm just scared. You know, for example, I wanted to like call my dad and be like, oh, even last weekend I wanted to talk to him about getting therapy, or, you know, just doing things to help my mental health and overall health. But I was scared too because I'm like, oh, but like money, you know, because they've always had me thinking that we never had enough money, yet they were literally paying like $3,000, not including like other bills, for the apartment we were living in. You know, $3,000, like $400 each week for fruits and vegetables, you know, just food in general. Unless they were paying more, but nonetheless, it's still a lot of money. Electricity, Wi-Fi, TV, blah blah blah. Like we didn't watch TV, but you know, buying a television costs money. I'm not saying they bought one like every day, but you know, like all that shit costs money. They were paying all of that, but they always had me thinking that we never had enough money. You know, oh, I can't buy you shoes. Oh, I can't buy you that shirt. Oh, I can't buy you, I don't know, therapy, like it costs too much. So that's why Maria had me doing therapy in Peru. But honestly, fuck you, you fucking bitch. I fucking hate you. And then, yeah, it's just, they've always had me thinking that that we never had enough anything. So I just always felt sick, you know. Like I could never have enough of anything. Just complete lack. And it's been so shitty. It makes me sick to think about. And I wish that's not how things could be. And I also wish, you know, capitalism didn't exist, or that colonialism didn't happen, but all of this shit did happen, and I can't undo what is. You know, I can just do what I can for myself. And I ended up quitting my job because I just felt like I wasn't being treated well or really acknowledged for who I am. And sure, I didn't really speak up for myself either. I just left because I was like, fuck this. Like, maybe that's an issue I have, where I just expect people to know things, but maybe I'm just expecting too much from a world that could literally care less. You know, it's like Tennis Court by Lorde, where she's like, it's an art form showing people how little we care. And it's extremely fucked up, but it is what it is. You know? We live in a world of toxicity, and maybe I just have to live with that. And maybe I just need to focus on myself. For example, there. And like, even that just has me tense. I don't like it. I'm not saying I'm a patient person, you know. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I feel like I do expect the minimum, which is respect. People yelling at their children ticks me off. People treating, I don't know, bosses treating their employees like fucking, I don't know, cattle, when you shouldn't even treat cattle like that, or like dogs when you shouldn't even treat dogs like that. Like, it's just, it makes me sick. But maybe I just have to do what I need to do for myself. It's just hard, because I'm a really sensitive person. And I don't know, I've been going through a lot. And when I was working, I'd disassociate, or I'd derealize. And I still do, but it was a lot more intense when I was working, because it's just so dark in there. And there's just a shit ton of clothes, and like my back was hurting because you're just carrying piles of jeans, or you're standing at the cash register for literally hours. Like, I overworked myself. I ended up working 6 days a week one time, and I was crying during one of the shifts, and I just had to leave. Luckily, a customer walked in and they saw me, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No." And they like talked to my manager to like have me go home or something, or go on my break. And they did let me, but like, it's like people don't actually care. They're just surface level nice. They're nice, but they're not kind, you know? Like, oh, you're crying? Okay, what's wrong? You need to go? Okay, that's fine. But no one actually stayed around to ask how I was actually doing or cared about me in general. You know, it's not a community, it's just slavery, bro. Like, you're just making money for people who don't give a single flying fuck about you. Like, I get paid a quarter of what the jeans cost. A quarter. Jeans cost $60. Meanwhile, I was getting paid $15 to work my ass off, break my back, literally break my back. And just every part of my body hurt. And one day I was just feeling sick and I didn't really feel like I could go in, but I went in anyway because, I don't know, I guess the boss was like, oh, like, you decided to cover the shift, so you need to find someone else. That's your responsibility. No, it's not. You're the boss. You're the manager. You can find someone else to cover my shift. Y'all suck. Y'all want to act all big dog, but y'all don't even do shit. And this isn't the only job I've been at where they literally don't do anything. They don't train you, okay? They don't really train you. They have you at, like, the first interview being like, oh, so, like, how many hours will I get? That's me talking. And then they're like, oh, it depends on how you work. Fuck you. I need job. I need money. I'm literally 18 years old, trying to move out, and you're not gonna give me enough hours. They would literally give me 2 hours or 4 hours a week. That's not enough. That's literally $60, bro. That's a pair of jeans right there that I'd have to work 4 hours out of my day, out of my life, just to make $60, bro. That shit should be illegal. That is literally slavery, bro. Even the prison system's like that, except they pay them cents. They'll be like, oh, they're doing community labor. No, they're just slaving you away. They're slaving us away. Like, no. I don't want to be a part of that. Why would I want to work for something that could give less of a fuck about me? There's no sunlight in those places. Okay? There's no fucking sunlight. They don't feed you. They don't clothe you. Because, mind you, the one bitch that was like, oh, you can go home, was also the same bitch who was literally wearing open-toed shoes, showing her fucking stomach, and wearing sweatpants, which are all 3 of the things that we signed in our contract when we fucking signed up for the job to not do. Yet she was doing all of those 3 things, and she had the fucking audacity to look at me and be like, you need to dress more professionally. Meanwhile, I'm wearing the same shit, but the difference is my stomach's not showing. I'm not showing my toes either. She had the audacity to literally call me ugly and unpresentable and just, you know, that you look like shit and trash. All because I wasn't, you know, wearing their work attire. Do you want to give me a uniform? Do you want to buy me a pair of $60 jeans? Because, you know, that'd be literally 4 hours of work. That'd be 4 hours of work for me. I didn't say anything then. You know, I'm just thinking, I'm like, really? She has the audacity. Like, I was so angry. And, you know, it's just little things like that just upset me. It's like, who do you think you are? What do you think you are to tell me who and what I am and what I need to do? Meanwhile, y'all are paying us nothing. Do you really think $15 an hour is gonna make me afford an apartment? Or buy a home that's actually, you know, gonna last? You know, a place that I could actually call my own and not something that I'm renting? Do you think that's gonna buy me food on the table? Do you think that's gonna buy me a new pair of shoes when all the other ones are fucked up? Or buy me more sweatpants because, you know, I go through them during the week. It's not like I'm just clothless, or even if I did just have one pair of sweatpants, like, it's hard. So you mean to tell me that the sweatpants over there cost $40, but y'all only pay me $15 an hour? You mean to tell me a fucking t-shirt costs $20? That a t-shirt costs more than what I get paid? You mean to tell me that you're selling like $180 puffer jacket or whatever that shit's called, and I only get paid $15 an hour? You mean to tell me I carry all of these fucking pairs of jeans with these muscles that literally fucking ache and hurt and bones too, and I only get $15 an hour? You mean to tell me I organize all of the shelves, make it look nice and pretty just to have customers fuck it up and only get paid $15 an hour? You mean to tell me that I have to sit behind the cash register and have a Karen and a fucking Ken tell me that they should have a fucking discount? And that they blah 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 and this and that? You mean to tell me that a Ken can come in and get a discount for literally killing people, and that's fine? And don't get me wrong, a lot of these people that do go out to those things, you know, are victims and are just, you know, highly manipulated and gaslighted. But nonetheless, I don't support that. War is just disgusting, and I don't fuck with it, you know? Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm the type of person, if I got drafted to such a thing, and that's just speaking from here, you know, if I actually was in a situation, I know I'd be completely different, I'll be honest. But I don't think I'd be capable of doing all of those things, or any of it really. Like, you know, I was considering joining the Air Force and shit like that, but mostly because I just needed the money to, you know, make a living, and that's why a lot of people do it, especially in Peru. You know, I'm not saying people like that aren't like that here. Like, for example, Bella Ports had to join the Navy because she wanted to leave her home. She needed her privacy and her individuality. So it's just insane that people are just, you know, they find these victims and they're like, oh, you need money or you need this. Well, we got you. Join the Navy. Join this. Fuck you. Like, we should already have all the things we need. We're literally $29 trillion in debt. The U.S. is $29 trillion in debt. But I get $15 an hour. You mean to tell me that y'all paying for these fucking jetpacks for the Navy or whatever fucking armed forces? Okay, you mean to tell me that you're paying trillions of dollars for stupid equipment? Like, for example, I don't know, fucking those, what are they? Whatever. For example, L3 Harris, okay? Just paying for literally terrorizing people, okay? You're paying trillions of dollars for war, but I only get $15 an hour, which back then I would only get paid $12 an hour, and when I was living in Florida, I'd only get paid $8 an hour. But y'all get to spend trillions of your dollars and bills and whatnot on war, on literal war, on terrorizing people. But then y'all want to be like, oh, we use your tax money for public education. Okay, then tell me why you haven't taught us real Native American history while we're literally on Native American land. And they're not even actually called Native American, nor is America actually called America. Who the fuck is Amerigo Vespucci, bitch? What does an Italian man have to do with this native indigenous land that's been called Turtle Island? It's been called Turtle Island. But y'all changed the name to a stupid, ugly ass shit called America. And then y'all want to say that, you know, for example, Latin Americans or Hispanics or people south are immigrants. And especially them, you want to call them rapists and all this shit, right? You want to say that they're immigrants and aliens. Meanwhile, okay, first off, if it weren't for, again, for the colonizers, terrorists coming and whatnot, I'm sure Texas and California and all these other places would be a part of Mexico still. Okay. There's just so many states. And to be honest, Texas and California are so fucking huge. These states are fucking huge. I think they've said that San Francisco could literally be its own fucking state. And that's just San Francisco. There's the rest of California, bro. Or I think I've heard also that California might be like, could be its own country too. I don't know. I'd need to, like, you know, do research again, but that's just so fucked up. So fucked up. But y'all only want to pay us $15 an hour when you literally stole our land, raped our people, genocide our people to this day. But we only get $15 an hour. Meanwhile, living in an apartment costs like $3,000 if you want to live in a safe area. Yeah, that makes absolute sense. Like, it's fine that we're $29 trillion in debt because, you know, I checked 2 years ago and it was only $26 trillion in debt. But now we're $29 trillion in debt. I don't think that's the kind of, you know, place that we want to be in. But y'all want to make it seem like America is amazing and that it's number one when it's literally not. In education, we're literally, like, horrible. We're horrible in everything, okay? Even our building, our architecture is literal shit. Okay, I'm not talking about the indigenous and native people of this land because they created really nice places. But the colonizers created absolute fucking shit. Like, we live in shit. And there's churches in every 5 seconds. Like, just the whole entire block. And there's another church. It's fucked up.